So hi guys, in the last video we talked about looking to define a strategy based on some of the Binance app default criteria. Then this isn't the Binance Exchange when you log on, this is the actual app you get on your phone. And on there you get a couple of indicators. You get MACD, you get RSI, I think you get MA, there's a couple of others. So what I wanted to do today was to look at maybe one of those and look on the exchange. Pick a coin. I think we're going to go for Bitcoin US Tether because that's quite a nice one, a nice easy one to start with. Look at a couple of the indicators and then see how we could potentially build a strategy. This does come with a massive caveat. I am not saying that this is a strategy you should use. It is just going through that process of picking coins, at least one coin in this case, and then looking at some indicators and look at entry points that the bot could potentially buy on. So with that said, let's go and have a look at the exchange. Here we go. So what we're looking at here is Bitcoin USD Tether. It's a one-day candle, and as you can see, it's been quite varied. And we're going back here, I think, to the start of February. Start of January. Excellent. So this is 3 months, a quarter, effectively, worth of trading. And what we need to do is to work out over the last 3 months where we would have bought in potentially, or where we'd liked to have bought in potentially. And we're going to mark these. So let's get a little up arrow. That's quite nice. So starting from this week, the best buying position, well, you could say it was down here, but I'm going to say it's there. And then we're looking for another one, so maybe here. Oops, oh, I've got to press the button. Oh, sorry. Here we go, here. Potentially, definitely here. There's another one there. And then one definitely there. Now there might be a few others there that we would potentially look at, maybe here, but let's go for those at the moment. Now I'm just going to get the app up on my phone just to check what the indicators are. This is all a bit rough and ready. So okay, so you get MA, EMA, ball, and then you also get volume, MACD, KDJ, and RSI. And I think looking at those, we're going to go for RSI. Why not? On the app, it gives you a couple of periods on RSI, and it gives you 16, I think, 12, and 24. On the exchange, let's see what we get. So we type in RSI. My typing's holding up tonight. Okay, and that is completely unreadable, so let's change that. We'll make it white because it's nice and bright then, and we'll make it a big old thick line. We're going to leave the uppers and lowers at 1730 and leave the background. Okay, so is there a correlation, is the first question, between where we would like to buy in and RSI? And let's have a look. Well, okay, so that crosses the 30 mark. Overbought, oversold. So that's a great time for that to start. So that's an automatic robot in my room. It doesn't do anything here, though, really. Doesn't do anything here. It does cross into overbought. Yeah, it doesn't really do much there, though it's heading up that way. And here it's right in the down middle. So really, is that a useless indicator? Well, the answer is yes and no. Depends on your candle size. Depends what you're trying to do. But let's play with the inputs to this, and let's reduce the period, and let's half it. Let's see what happens. So now, well, that's leaving 30. That's leaving 30. That one's leaving 30. So that's a little bit better. I mean, these are not really registering much, but at least we've got a couple more defined points here where it's starting to rise. It's starting to rise here. So my mouse isn't moving very well today. And it's starting to rise here. So let's play with the period a bit more, shall we? Let's see what we can get. And let's go for, can't do 3.5, so we'll drop it down to 3. Okay, this is much better. So look, we want to buy in about here, and it's just crossing over the 30 mark. We want to buy in here. Again, it's crossed over the 30 mark. We want to buy in here. It's crossed over the 30 mark. We'd like to buy in here, and it's sort of crossed over the 30 mark. And we want to buy in somewhere around here, and again, it's crossed over the 30 mark. So, awesome. So does that mean that we can use RSI and just say, every time it crosses over 30, buy? Yes and no, that's pretty risky, but it's a very good start point, perhaps, that you can now build a strategy on. You can also add things like, at least in the version of the bot I've got, you can say, well, if the candle's green, I don't think that's strictly necessary with RSI. And you could add in Bollinger Band width to say, don't buy if the width is really, really small. And you could add something in to stop you buying wicks, but I don't think that's really necessary. So is there any dud entry points? I think that's what we've got to look at. So here's the first cross, that's a good point. Here's the second cross, that's a good point. The third cross, good point. This one, yeah, see, this one isn't great. It's crossed, and you've got a little tiny candle. This is the one that's going to screw you up. It doesn't cross here, almost, but it doesn't. And then there's a tiny blip here where it just crosses. And you'd probably end up buying right at the top of this damn candle, and that wouldn't be great because it would just crash down here, so you don't really want to buy there either. So a number of ways to do that. You could use another indicator to reinforce. You could use maybe Bollinger Bands to have a look at where it is on the band, and maybe say buy when it's in the lower, or buy when it's crossing middle, something like that. I'm going to be really a bit cheeky here, and what I'm going to do is up this lower band to 31. Ooh, maybe that's not enough. That was 30.2. So this false one now wouldn't fire, because I'm saying if we were going to say only buy when it crosses that band, that's at 30.2. I'm assuming that on the partial candle here, that hasn't gone higher and back down again. Now, looking at that candle, it probably did, to be honest. So maybe that's not high enough. There's another one here where it crosses, and it's still crossing. The value was 31.4. Yeah. This one is still in play. That's 30.9. No, we wouldn't cross, would we? So we have to be careful here, because we're now eliminating certain buy points like that one. Or do we just take the risk and see what actually happened? But what I'm trying to show you is that it's not as obviously cut and dry as perhaps it appears at first glance. So we'll eliminate that one. We're going to come in on this one. Oops, that one. I think that one would prove to be a mistake looking at it. But again, I suppose that's what stop loss is for. And I'm working on an 80-20 rule. So if 80% of the buys are good buys, then why not just use those? And you could maybe use a stop loss to cancel the one out that you haven't actually made a right decision on. Now, normally you'd work with a pile of other indicators here to try and work it out, but we're just going to leave it like this for now. Keep it simple, show this, and then we'll take this through to the bot, and we'll try and trade with it on paper anyway. And again, as we're trading Bitcoin versus US Tether, the results on paper will be pretty much what we would get on live. So this could be a mitigated disaster, but it'll be worth it. It's good fun, and it's a good piece of learning, I suppose, both for me and everyone who is hopefully watching the video. The other thing we've got to think about now is there a natural exit point? And I guess one of the ones that's obvious is, well, what are the sort of profits we're talking about here? Are we talking about scalping and doing 0.5% or 1%? Or we're going to do more of a kind of swing strategy and use TSL maybe to work out what our profits are. So down on Binance there's a little percent sign here, so you can look at what the percentages were. And let's say we bought this, well, let's be optimistic, at the middle of the candle, which is minus 29. Let's call that minus 30 for ease of maths. And currently, if we bought down there, we would be at about 15% profit. Okay, that's good. Let's look at this one. Let's say we bought halfway up the candle, halfway up this candle. Oops, that's round about, let's call it 18 because it's really close. And let's say the top of this candle was 23, so that's about just under 5%. Let's say we bought halfway up this candle at 26, and we topped off here at about 14%. Let's say we were down here at what's that? Can't even see that, 12.96, and the top part was 29. Blimey. Okay, that's good. And then this one here, halfway up the candle, say for example 15.86, and there's a first exit point here at 10, so it's about 5%. So most of these positions would net us 5%, and even the one that's a little bit raggy, let's have a look at this one. This is the raggy one, isn't it? And we bought there at 35. Get up there. 38. So you could argue that's like 2.5 to 3%. From those maths, from those profits, you could actually work out what kind of strategy you would want to do. This one is a worry, because you don't really want this one at all. So let's see if we can put another indicator on just to have a quick look at that. And we'll just put Bollinger Bands on, have a quick look, see if that's telling us anything about that particular position. Where's it gone? I've lost it. There. So unless we start playing with the settings on Bollinger Bands and the width and everything, there's not a lot there that immediately strikes me. We couldn't say, for example, if it crosses the middle, because it does, unfortunately. And the other ones don't, and we definitely want to buy in there. We can't say if it's in lower, because 3 of them are not in lower, they're middle or in upper. So I'm just wondering if we just take that on the chin, really, and just see how that goes. Maybe put some risk mitigation into the final strategy to get rid of anomalies like that. Or why don't you guys have a look and see if you can suggest an indicator to work alongside this that would mitigate that particular position. MFI is a good one normally, maybe Stoke has loads. It'd be interesting to hear your comments on it. So for now then, and I don't want to drag this video on longer than needed, where are we up to? We're up to 13 minutes, so that's good. I wanted to make this about 15 minutes long. So what we're going to do is, just to recap, we're going to have an RSI period 3. If it crosses from 31, I think we set it to. If it's over 31, we're going to buy, and we're going to probably start with either a TSL of 3% maybe as the arm, and maybe put a TP on at 10% and just see how we get on with it. That's the initial strategy. Now, a couple of things. We've looked back 3 months. If I was doing this for real, I'd be looking back maybe 6 months, 9 months. I definitely wouldn't just be using RSI. I would definitely be using something else as well. But this is an example of how you could start to build a strategy from scratch. And let's go. I'm just trying to think if we could put something else up really quickly. Maybe something that'd be good. Alright, I'll just put MFI on, one of my favourite ones. Oops. Why does it always put it on in the most unreadable format in the world? Anyway, let's go. Is MFI telling us anything about this particular up? Well, allegedly it's going down, but it's not exactly going, well, it's going up there. Yeah, might be MFI, something around MFI. I'll maybe have a look at that off over the next couple of days before we do the next video. But really what I'm trying to get through here is let's explore some indicators. You can't break anything. So go into Binance, select a technical indicator. If you want to know what they do, there's tons and tons of resources out there that explain all these indicators and what they do, how they work, and how maybe to use them. And I recommend, you read a couple of the basic ones, like the Bollibands, RSI, Stoch RSI, MA, obviously, and a couple of others, but it's up to you. Or you can just follow this this train wreck that is going to happen on this strategy. But it's good fun to build these things and test these things and see how they get on. Just wanted to flick back to the PaperBot that I was showing the other night. It's not done anything today on USDT. Not surprisingly, it's been a red candle all day. We don't buy in red candles, but it's doing okay. 9.2%. And we're running a Bitcoin now. So last video I'd stopped Bitcoin. I'm running a test here, which I'm going to show in a future video, and it does exactly what I said not to do in a previous video. But I just want to show you the differences between what paper can look like and what would happen if I put that live, and how I would lose all my money if I ever put this one live. But that's for a future video. I'm just getting the data for that here. Looking good though. I mean, looking brilliant. Look at this. Great. Get some nice cells out of it. Yeah, shame it would never work. But anyway. Okay, that's it for this video. If you want me to cover certain indicators, please let me know in the comments. If I've earned your subscription today, that's great. Thank you very, very much. Please don't forget to like the video and share it to help us build the channel. And hopefully we will be back in a couple of days where we will build this into the bot, and we'll be able to see the results of our strategy setup. I'm not really very confident about this. You could actually tell, can't you? But time will tell. Okay, onwards and upwards. I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.